Oh, starting. Okay, great. Love that for me. Looks different. This is cool. Oh, that's a lot. Excuse me. We're gonna wait a little bit for some more for people to come on. Well, we'll start. I'll start officially at 7. So yeah, probably should have music or something. I don't know. Hmm. It's just about 7 o'clock. Pretty much 7 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and get started. So hello everyone. I am back with another episode of Have a Little Talk, and as you can see, I am home, and my my dog is in my lap right now. Not even gonna lie to y'all. What had happened was I overslept. I did. I overslept, and I ended up. By the time I woke up, I wouldn't have made it to the studio in time. So learning the art of the pivot. We're here at home. So if you hear barking, it's probably him. If you hear the sounds of the neighborhood, that's I'm home. So yeah, we are gonna keep going, keep moving, all the things. You wanna say hello? I guess not, but that's all right. Yeah. Uh, Overslept because last night was really rough for me. I'm having some tooth issues, a lot of pain. It was like wake me up out of my sleep a few times last night, so I didn't get much sleep. So caused me to oversleep this afternoon or this evening. So yeah. And yeah, we're home. So yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. Learn the art of the pivot. Um, and as you can see, my dog is rather clingy, and it kind of, yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah, I'm talking about you. He is clingy, so that's why he's in my lap and not. He was sitting next to me, but he couldn't just stay there. He had to be in my lap. So we're just gonna rock out. We're gonna rock out. So, um, today we are doing the last. We're wrapping up the whole season series, and we are talking about leaving slash moving on. Um, yeah. So let's get into it. I posted a status earlier this week, talking about, um, like, when you leave a place, like when you transition, like once a season in a certain place is up, sometimes when you're going from one season to the next, it involves, um, leaving a certain thing, a certain person, a certain group, what have you. That's just a part of life. It's a part of, it's just a part of life. Sorry, my husband is texting me. Okay, great. That's hubby. He takes priority. Um, okay, so yeah. Um, yeah, when you're going from one season to the next, a lot of times, you may have to leave a place, you may have to leave, a relationship, a group, whatever that may be. Um, and like I said, it's part of life. It happens. It doesn't always have to be a messy leaving. It doesn't have to be drama. It doesn't have to be negative. It could be a positive experience. Um, Chris Brown has a song called "Say Goodbye." He says there's never a right time to say goodbye. Excuse me. And there he's kind of right. He had a point. There may not be a right time, but I believe there's a right way. There's a right and a wrong way to do it. So that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to share my thoughts, and of course, as always, I would love to hear yours. If you agree, if you disagree, feedback, all those things. This is why we go live, so we can have that real time conversation. So yeah, don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to, add your 2 cents. That's what the live platform is for. So, you when you're going from one season to the next, it could involve leaving. I named a few things. So I have your job, a relationship, a friend group, auxiliary, church, etc., etc. If you all think of one, definitely add it to the list and we will talk about it. But I'm just going to talk about a few things from my list. And yeah, let's rock and roll. So the first thing I have is like leaving your job. You can leave your job for many different reasons. It could be for a better opportunity, for a better work environment, better pay, career advancement. You could be going from one field to the next. Me personally, I'm about to go back to school, and the field that I'm going to be going into is completely different from the field that I'm in right now. So, of course, eventually I'm going to have to make that transition from one job to the next. But they already know that, I'm in school and all those things. So that's that. Um, the normal, I'd say the normal standard for when you do leave a job is to give some kind of notice. So, like a 2 week notice, 3 week notice, whatever that may be. Um, it's, excuse me, it's proper protocol. We'll say that. It's proper protocol to put in that 2 week notice, let them know, hey, I found another job, found another opportunity. Um, this will be my last day. A lot of times we'll write a letter. It could be verbal, whatever that may be. Um, Normally you give them notice, and on your last day, or maybe after your last day, they do what's called an exit interview. That's still fairly new to me. They kind of, a higher up will kind of talk to you and excuse me, and talk to you about why you left, why you chose to leave, things like that. And they'll also ask you for feedback on whether or not, like, I guess, like how they did, what they could do better, um, all those things. Because if the 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 goal is, if there was an issue in that company or in that workplace, they want to kind of try to find the issue and solve it. You know, um, that's normally how it happens. But let's be real, it's not always how it happens. It's not always how it works. So, sometimes people will walk off a job. I've walked off jobs before. Um, and for whatever reason. Um, some states, like the state of Pennsylvania, are what's called an at will state, which means that you can leave a job without without giving them notice, and you won't be penalized for it. And that's cool for us, but vice versa, the company can also let you go with no notice. And that's the unfortunate part. It's unfortunate for both parties, really. Um, but yeah, some states are at will states, so that's what that means. Either you can leave or they can let you go with no notice at all. Um, so yeah, the different reasons why people may leave a job. Again, it could be better pay for career advancement. If you're changing careers, um, a lot of times people leave because of poor management, and that's very unfortunate to me, for me personally, because I was a manager. I was a manager at several jobs that I've had, and people have had nice things to say. Yes. Okay. I thought you had something to add. You don't have to. Okay. You don't have a job. But um bad management, that's terrible. It's an unfortunate thing to experience. Bad management, lack of support, um all the things. I have always strived to be a good manager when I was a manager. And I've had terrible bosses. I've had terrible management, and I have walked off of jobs because of that terrible management. And it's just it's unfortunate, but sometimes that's part of the job. It shouldn't be part of the job. I'm gonna say that it should not be part of the job. Terrible management, having to put up with that, it should not be part of the job. Um, we deal with enough in life, in our day to day life. So coming to work, we shouldn't really have to deal. Hey, calm down, calm down. Coming to work, we shouldn't have to deal with even more drama. Like work shouldn't be. It shouldn't be another source of drama, another source of, excuse me, irritation, things like that. But sometimes it is. Um. So yeah, moving on. Sometimes we have to leave relationships, and we're talking romantic relationships in this instance. Um, again, let's be real. Sometimes when it comes to matters of the heart, when the heart is involved, um, lines get blurred. We may put up with more than we normally would. We may tolerate more than we normally would. We may stay longer than we normally would, um, in the name of love. Trying to, and we justify it by saying, oh, they can change. I could change him. I could change her. Let's be real. When has that ever worked? When has that ever really worked? Trying to change somebody. It hardly ever works. It actually, if it ever does work, that means you're grooming them to be someone that they're not. If you're constantly trying to change someone, obviously they're not who you want them to be. So as a result, you need to find somebody else. Like, get somebody else to do it. Like, honestly. Um, it yeah. I've seen, unfortunately, examples of, people grooming someone who may be younger. And this is not a male or female thing, because men and women both do it, unfortunately. It's really sad, taking advantage of someone like that. Excuse me, sorry. It's also allergy season, so I'm a little stuffy. My nose is running a little bit. Today's been a day, but we're still here. Um, like like the situation with Marcus Houston. I don't know if y'all know, but Marcus Houston, he's like 40, and his wife is very very young. I believe I think he married her when she was 19, I believe. And I haven't formed my own opinion on it myself. It did cause me to raise an eyebrow, because that's a very big age gap. He's old enough to be her father, and he's marrying her. But there's been examples of like an older adult um, entering a relationship with a younger child, and because they're young, they take advantage of their youth, the fact that they're naive, the fact that they don't know any better. They're still growing, their brain is still developing, so they take advantage of that, and they groom them to be the mate or the spouse that they want, when in reality they don't want to do the work to find the mate that's right for them. Or maybe something is wrong with that older adult, and again, they're not willing to do the work to be who they need to be for the person that they want. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. It made sense to me. I hope it made sense to y'all. um so yeah, like when the heart is involved, a lot of times lines get blurred. Like, me personally, I have left relationships, and I've been the one to leave, or someone else has been the one to leave. It is what it is. I've been on both sides. Both are painful. Both take a lot of thought. Both take a lot of they involve a lot of emotions. It can take a toll on you. Relationships can really take a toll on you, depending on how invested you are in that relationship. I am the type of person who was all in. I'm either all in or all out. There's no real medium for me. So, you know, I'm married now, so and I am like darn near obsessed with my husband, like, and vice versa. You know, we're very much in love, and I'm not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere. So there's that. But um, if you're actually, I should have said this disclaimer first. If you're being like abused or mistreated, or your safety is at risk or in danger, then there's no right or wrong way to leave. You just need to leave. The right way is to leave immediately. Like, get out of there. The wrong way the wrong way would be to stay in that situation. And that is whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether that be a group, a church, whatever. If there is toxicity, if you're involved in toxicity, you should go. Honestly. Like, you should not stay in that situation. But since we're talking about relationships, if you're in an abusive relationship, please find a way out. Like, it's never worth staying. There is nothing I can think of that could justify staying in an abusive relationship. And I know it's hard. I was in an abusive relationship where I was being like, it was more so like verbal abuse, mental abuse, things like that. But still, like, it takes a while to get to that breaking point. Because when you love somebody, you kind of, or when you love somebody and then you're with someone and they change during that relationship, there's a part of you that longs for that old person. You want that old person back, who they used to be before whatever happened that caused them to change. And so you're holding on to hope that that person will return, and sometimes they do, but most times they don't. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but most times they don't change. And yes, that is a great point. Emotion, I personally, because I'm like, I consider myself to be an emotional person. I have what I call big emotions. Whatever emotion I feel deeply and strongly. Yes, sir, I'm on a roll right now, okay? Y'all, excuse my doggy son. He wants attention. He'll get some later. But yes, I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that emotional abuse is worse than physical. Um, well, actually, no. I'm not gonna say like one is worse than the other, but it definitely is just as bad. Um, I have big emotions. I like to call them big emotions. So whatever I feel it deeply, and a lot of times it's to the point where it affects me physically. Like, I physically feel it in my body, whatever, and it could be like from euphoria to despair. I literally like feel that strongly. So like, when someone hurts my feelings or someone says something damaging to me, like, it really affects me. I can't just shake it off and be like, oh well, maybe they were having a bad day and they didn't mean it. Like, nah. Like, if someone's tone changes in conversation, I'm like immediately assuming that they hate me. And I'm working on that, but it's just, that's how my brain works and operates. It's either you love me or hate me. Um, yeah, yeah, yes. I wear it for a while, and it weighs on me for a while. Sir, where are you going? Do you want to get down? I feel like you here. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't know where he's going, but yes, I wear it for a while. Um, and there's other people who do the same thing, um, who are the same way. Um, yes, we're still in relationships. I lost my train of thought because of the boy. Um, but yeah, like, when it comes to relationships, um, like, it kind of goes back to like the first episode, knowing when to go. Paying attention to those red flags and those signs and not ignoring them, but more so making a mental note like, oh, okay, they're acting this way. and it hasn't changed. So, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I shouldn't stay. And since we're talking about relationships, my next point is actually like friends or a friend group. Um, when seasons change, seasons change in your life, you become a new person or a different person or a better person, however you'd like to put it. Um, sometimes sometimes our circle has to change. Sometimes we can't stay around the same people. And if you're anything like me, you don't really like having to walk away from people or, you know, I'm an introvert. So it's not often that there aren't many people where I say like, "Oh, I want to hang out with this person. I want to hang out with that person." Or I want to spend time with that person. And even with the people I do want to hang around, I have a list in my head of people that I do want to spend time with and hang out with and things like that. I just haven't reached out yet because, being an introvert, I'm like, oh, what if they're busy? What if they don't want to hang out with me? It's all the what ifs, and I end up in my head about it, but I'm working on that. Um, but, sometimes, when you do kind of evolve or transition or you're in this new place, there's some people who can't go with you. I've heard that a lot. You know, everyone can't go to the next, they call it the next level or the next place. Wherever it is you're going, it's very true. Everyone can't go. Everyone can't go with you. And it's unfortunate because sometimes you want to keep those same friends. You want to keep those day ones, those people who, especially for me, like those people who were there for me at my lowest point. It's like those people, I want to keep them close. I kind of I want to keep them in my life. Um, yeah, same, same. Absolutely. Like I didn't believe it either until it actually happened to me. I think the biggest transition in my life was moving from Maryland to Philly. Hi, Mom Jacqueline. And hi, Adrian, my good sis. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in and joining me on my little talk. Um, as y'all can see, I'm home. My dog is running back and forth. He was in my lap, but we're making it work. Um, so yeah, my biggest transition was moving from Maryland to Philly. That for me, that was probably one of the biggest transitions of my life. Um, yeah, obviously my environment changed. Um, I am a completely different person. I'm a much better person now, I believe. I'm still, transitioning into, the woman I was always meant to be, I believe. Um, but yeah, that was a big transition for me. I did lose a few friends, unfortunately. Um, it wasn't long after it wasn't long after I moved out here that Michael and I got engaged and ended up getting married and wedding planning brings out people's true character. I Life transitions, like major life changes really bring out people's true character. And I could say a lot on that. Like there's a lot to be said about that. Um during like during our the wedding planning process, it was a lot. And I saw a lot of people's true colors. A lot of people. And like Adrian said, it surprised me. It really really surprised me cuz I was like, "What?" Like there were people really wilding. Like and I saw people's true colors also in a good way. I saw people stand up for me. I saw people defend me. I saw people did things for Michael and I was just like, wow. Like it amazed me. Like people did a lot of things they really showed up for us like before, during and after the wedding. And even now, like, we're almost 5 years in. It'll be 5 years in September. Woo, cannot wait. Um, there's still people who, you know, reach out and do things for us simply because they love Michael and they love me. Um, he brought me into his world, and it's been great. Like, honestly, it's been great ever since. But yeah, we saw a lot of people's true colors, and it was crazy. Like, transition will definitely show you people's true colors. If you ever want to know who is genuinely for you or who your friends really are, move out of state. Move out of state. Get married. Have a baby. Like, I'm telling you, those major life changes, it'll really show you who people are. It'll show you. And it's not a bad thing. It's really not. Whether people are being negative, whether people are being positive, like, it's all a learning experience. Take it as that. Take it, go into it as a learning experience. I'm just going to use, since I'm talking about getting married, I'm going to use that as an example. Like, it is, you are entering into something new. Even if you've been married before. I've been married before. Michael was my second husband. So, even being married before, this is brand new. It was brand new to me. This is a whole new person, whole new family, whole new everything, whole new experience. So, like any kind of life event, if you move, I moved from Maryland to Philly. I got married. You know, when I start having kids, that is a brand new experience. So, it'll show you yourself. It'll show you other people. It's very eye-opening, and it's a learning experience. If nothing else, it's definitely a learning experience. You learn who is safe. You learn who's not safe. You learn who you can trust, who you can't trust, or like, you kind of learn boundaries. You kind of learn, okay, I can tell you this, I can tell them everything, but them over there, I can, we gonna stay on the surface over there. That kind of thing. Um, so yeah, like, when you're those transitions and things like that, like, the people around you are going to change. A lot of us have those friends from childhood or from high school, college, what have you, and you'll still be in touch with them today. That's great. You know, those day ones, like, and I feel like we need to redefine what a day one is. Like, day one is not always, it's not from the beginning. Like, and if that's the case, then my only day one friend is my sister, because literally she was there from day one. But day one, like those day ones, that refers to the day that y'all met. From the day y'all met, have they held you down? Have they been honest? Have they been loyal? Have they been good to you? Have you been good to them? Cause vice versa. We can't just talk about other people without talking about ourselves. We also have to look in the mirror. But stick a pin in that. We'll come back to that. Um, but that to me is what a day one is. If you have friends from childhood who are still in your life, that's wonderful. But when you go from one season to the next, your circle will sometimes change. I was gonna like make the definite statement, oh, it's definitely gonna change, but it might change. There's a good chance, because what you were doing in the last season, you might not be you're not doing anymore. And if the people you were hanging around were heavily involved in those old activities that you're not doing anymore, um then obviously you can't keep putting yourself around those things and around those people. And I'm not saying you have to cut them off, and I'm not saying you have to be nasty about it either. Don't be nasty about it, because that's not cute. Don't be nasty. But it's simply about setting boundaries. We talked about that. Remember the episode on boundaries? If you don't, you can go back and watch the replay. But we talked about boundaries. And absolutely, Mom Roz, your circle does get smaller. And yeah, like your circle sometimes it does get smaller, and that is okay. As an adult, when it comes to friends, it's about quality, not quantity. It doesn't matter so much how many friends you have. It's how are like what's the condition of your circle? How are they treating you? How are you treating them? Like every now and then kind of do those evaluations. Look at the people you have around you. Like and really like take some time to think about that. Like comb through that. Like honestly, and be honest with yourself and with them. Woo! I literally said the same thing. Like I did. And Michael's a witness. I said the same thing. I was like, I don't want no more new friends. I did. I was like I was done. Like I was really excuse me y'all, sorry, allergies. But I was I was one of those people too. Like I feel like listen, Adrian, we definitely got to talk. Like for sure, for sure. Like cuz I feel like we have similar testimonies, honestly, because I said the same thing. I said the same thing. And God stay laughing at me cuz he's like, "Oh, you thought because I said I didn't want any more new friends, especially when it came to women. Like I was done." And then that's when I started meeting, people from TAP, like, just think my life like just changed, and I became connected to so many more amazing people, and most of them are women. So I'm like, God, you got jokes. Like you really got jokes. But, I most of the people around me now, I feel like I can trust them. I feel like I I feel safe. And I don't say that a lot. Hey, sir, excuse my child. Anyway, I feel safe. And it feels good to say that because I haven't always felt safe in my friend groups. I've been around some people who absolutely, mom, God is in that. And that's the difference. That's the difference. When God is in it, there is that safety. You have that safety. You have that security. You're able to relax. Mom Antoinette said to me, you can exhale. You can just kind of, like how I'm sitting right now. Like if you can tell I'm a very obvious person. If I'm not comfortable, I'm like very, shoulders up, guarded, everything like that. But if I'm like relaxed, that's how you know I feel safe. That's how you know I feel okay. If I'm chilling, like I am right now, like I'm just talking, the hands are going, like my dad said on Sunday. That's how you know I'm comfortable. That's how you know I'm good and I feel safe. Um, so yeah, like when you know how they say in church, things I used to do I don't do no more. Those like if you're not doing those things anymore and they still are, then why are you still around them? And I'm talking to myself right now because just last night, you know, um, I I was at work and they were all making plans and stuff like that, and I was right there, and no one said a thing to me about it, and I was just like, oh, girl, when I tell you, my little feelings was hurt for a second. I was just like, oh, y'all not gonna invite me, but I thought we was cool. I thought we was friends. Like I came home all sad. Honestly, like I'm not even gonna lie. I came home all sad, like laying on Michael's chest, like, oh, they didn't invite me. Like I was all upset, but you know, the things that they do, I don't do anymore. So I still love them. Nothing has changed. Like I still those are still my people. It's just when it comes to going out and, festivities, certain festivities, I can't be involved in anymore. So, I mean, to be completely honest, I probably wouldn't have gone anyway. But, yeah, exactly. It wasn't for me. Um, and it's just a part of my transition. Like, I already knew that. Like, I already knew that, I was gonna have to change who I was around. I was gonna have to change who I spend that quality time with. Um, I just have to spend quality time with different people, and that's okay. That's gonna involve me, making a few phone calls, reaching out to a few other people, and that's cool. That's okay. I'm just trying to get past the I guess the anxious thoughts that I have, where I'm kind of like reaching out and stuff. It makes me really nervous. Being an introvert, it takes a lot. But again, I'm working on that. So yeah, it's all good. It is all good. It's a part of my personal transition, and I'm gonna get there. So it's when when you do have to kind of like break away from when you do have to break away from those old friend groups. Sometimes it's like a tearing off of the band-aid. Like it just happens. Like you have to go. Like there's there was one friend group I was in, and I was just like, yeah, I'm done with all y'all. Like I'd like I don't want to see y'all. I don't want to talk to y'all. I don't nothing. Sometimes you have to cut contact because certain friend group, like certain people are just, they don't have your best interests at heart. There are some people who have those ulterior motives, but may I submit this to you, not everyone has an ulterior motive. Not every single person that comes into your life is out to get you, and we have to break that mindset. We have got to break that mindset of eventually they're going to get me, or eventually they're going to cross me, or eventually they're going to do me wrong. No, that's not everybody. Not everybody is going to do that. Not everybody is going to mistreat you. We have to let that go, and the trauma of our past makes it hard, but listen, we that's a part of doing the work. You have to do that internal work so that you can let that go. Let the past go so you can embrace the new. It's a part of transition. Like, listen, it's transition is not like the lazy river at Dorney Park or Six Flags. You don't get to just lay back and enjoy the ride. No, no. You have to do some work too. And actually, you have to do most of the work. You're going to have to do most of the work. Yes, God is going to help you. Yes, God is going to be there for you. Yes, your loved ones are going to be there for you as well. Yes, you have a community. Yes, you have help. But none of that help is going to do you any good if you don't do anything. What does the Bible say? Faith without works is dead. So if you just sitting around hoping, wishing and hoping, okay, that's as far as you're going to get. A wish, a hope, and a prayer. But if you don't do the work, you're not going to make any progress. So that was my little soapbox moment. If you don't do the work, you're not going to make any progress. Point blank, period. So, just setting those boundaries with people. Like for me personally, um, I am officially done drinking. On the 8th, that made a month of me being sober. So I'm clapping for myself. Definitely sticking with it. I'm so proud of myself. Um, so I stopped drinking, and so now, like I said, I don't do that anymore. So people who are going to the bar, my friends who like going to the bar, I'm just like, okay, y'all have fun, be safe, please. Have fun and please be safe. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. You know, I those friends, I when I told them, honestly, when I first told them like I'm not drinking no more, they didn't believe me. They thought I was playing, and I was just like, no, for real, like, no, seriously. But they didn't believe me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just show y'all, and I did. So, it's been over a month now, and now they're like, now instead of them saying, "Oh, yeah, right," now they're like, "Oh, are you still sober? Are you still not drinking? Okay, cool." So now they respect my decision, and excuse me, they respect my decision, and so as a result, they don't ask me to go places where they know they're going to be drinking and things like that. They know where alcohol is going to be involved. They don't bring me into those spaces, and I respect them even more for that. And it's actually it's enhanced our relationship. I believe my relationship with those friends. Um, but you know, on the flip side, if they had been kind of like putting me down for it or trying to make me feel bad about it, then I would have had to kind of walk away. But those friends who respect you and who clap for you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love that for you." Great. And I just want to throw this in there. It's okay if they're still doing what you're not doing. It's okay. Just like they respect your decision, you need to respect theirs. Like, Maverick, get from over there. Come here. You gotta be careful. But, come here. Sorry, y'all. He's getting into stuff. Sit down. Um, so I'm still live. Yes. Yes. Say hello to the people. Sit down. It's not playtime right now. Goodness. So, sorry. Um, so yeah, if if they're still doing the things that you're not doing, don't bash them or put them down. If they're respecting your decision, you need to respect theirs. Again, you have to remember, like, relationships are definitely a two-way street. You have to you still have to be considerate of them as well. Um, do I have anything else to say for good evening, my auntie? I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. And thank you to everyone for joining me. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all so very much. Um, I don't know if y'all probably didn't catch the beginning, but I'm home, as you can see, with my little doggy son. Um, I had a rough night last night because I'm having some like really bad tooth pain, so it caused me to oversleep. So I knew I wasn't gonna make it to the studio in time. So we're home. That is why we're home. Um, with my doggy. So yeah, we were talking about moving on from one friend group to the next, how your friend group will change. Um, and I believe there is a lot of joy in finding your community. When you find that group of people who are for you, who love you, who you love and you feel safe around, like, there is so much joy in that. And I know from experience, like, the people who I am embracing now, who have embraced me as well, like, they're amazing, truly amazing. And I am going to be spending more quality time with them and really, like, ooh, sorry, and really just getting to know them even better and allowing them to get to know me. Because for a long time I was very closed off. I was very I didn't trust people. And I was one of those people who said that I didn't like people, when that is the furthest thing from the truth. I honestly do love people. I do like people. I like hanging out. I like spending quality time. It was just I was choosing the wrong people to spend that quality time with. That was the problem. And now that we've recognized the problem, I'm now fixing it and I'm doing something about it. So, there's some people who will hear from me more and some people who will hear from me less. It's just where I'm at right now. I need people around me who are conducive to where I'm going in life and conducive to where I am in life. You know, I'm in everywhere, everybody does. Everybody needs that. So, whether you're in a seasonal transition or not, I encourage you to take a look at your circle. Take a look around and really like evaluate who is around you. Like what are they pouring into you? Like what are they adding to your life? Like honestly, what are they adding to your life? And what are you adding to theirs? Because the again, it's a two-way street. And in any kind of relationship, you only get out what you put in. Like you can't withdraw from a place you've never made a deposit. My dad said something similar to that. I believe Sunday. It was either this past Sunday or the one before, but he said that. If you're not making a deposit, if you're not investing in a place or a relationship, then don't expect to get anything out. Oh, we have a question. Yay. What's a tool you use that makes it easier for you to open up to others? Ooh. Um Honestly, for me personally, I just I just had to, when it comes to trust, I just had to do it, if that makes sense. Um because like if you I'm trying to think of an analogy. Like if I don't know, like if you don't try, like you can't keep saying like I can't trust them, I can't trust you. Like you can't say to a person that you don't trust them when you never gave them a chance to break your trust or earn it. Like I don't it's unfair to the rest of the world to it's unfair to tell people that you don't trust them and you never gave them a chance. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not giving them a chance to even earn your trust or break your trust, if you're going into it with that mentality, then like it's honestly not fair. And a lot of people do that in romantic relationships, but it also applies to friendships as well. Um, and other connections. It's unfortunate that you had a bad experience with someone else, but the new person is not the old person. Like yes, there's a chance they could hurt you. Yes, there's a chance that they could do what the last person did. Okay, but it takes risk. Love is risky, y'all. It just point blank period. Love is risky. You take a risk every time you enter a relationship of any kind with any person. That's just the reality of the situation. But if you walk around like, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, like, if someone walked up to me right now and told me that they didn't trust me, I'm like, yo, you don't know me. Like, how do you know that you can or can't trust me? You don't even know me. You didn't even give me a chance. So I would say like I just had to do it. I had to relax. Like I really had to chill out because the people the people that I was around, um, I I had to let go of that negative mindset that I had because I was one of those people who just I expected bad things to happen to me. I expected people to hurt me. I expected people to do me wrong. I expected people to cross me. So I I used to walk around with an attitude, like on defense. Like Mom Jacqueline said earlier, I was on guard all the time. And people would like joke with me about it and things like that. But yeah, I used to walk around like that. And I had to stop because it's off putting. It's very off putting to walk around like that, just like that. It's just, it's not, it's off-putting. It's very off-putting, and you end up attracting the wrong crowd because you're putting out the fact that, you know, you don't trust people and things like that. And honestly, if you expect bad things to happen, what do you think is going to happen to you? Every time something bad happens, you're gonna like, see, that's what I'm talking about, and that's why, and da 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 da, and it's a mindset for me. For me, I had to, exactly, exactly. It's the expectation. Your expectation and your mindset is what needs to change. That's what needed to change for me. My expectation and my mindset had to change. Um, because I mean, unfortunately, yes, I was very, I was let down a lot. Unfortunately, I've been let down. I've been disappointed. I've been hurt. I've been all the things. And I'm not the only one. Like, it happens. But um we just, you can't allow your past to dictate your future. Sorry, my husband's texting me. Um yeah. You cannot allow your past to dictate your future. You know, if you're, especially if you're in transition and you're, you know, in a new place and you are a new person, you, like, expect everything to be new, expect everything to be different. And if you do end up getting disappointed or hurt again, you know, it's okay. It's unfortunate, but it's okay. Like, just relax. Simple word, but powerful. Relax. Like, just don't go into it on the defense. Don't go into it with the attitude and the mindset that, you know, this new opportunity is going to be like the last one. You know, if it's not always going to be a repeat performance. It doesn't always have to be same script, different cast. If you find yourself in the whole same script, different cast thing, get a different script. And I'm gonna let that marinate while I wipe my nose. Excuse me. If you find yourself constantly in the same script, different cast category or situation, change the script. And you know what that takes? That four-letter word, work. It takes work. So this last point, I saved this for last on purpose. I saved this last point for last on purpose. We are going to talk about leaving a church or moving on from a church. Now, this this is it can be a touchy subject, but because I've seen a lot, I, you know, it's it's a lot, but we're gonna talk about it. So, um, I grew up in church. I was what's called a pew baby. Um, you know, I've seen a lot of people leave a church. Um, I've left a church before. There is a right and a wrong way to do it. Okay? There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. So, to be completely honest, I didn't always know that. I'll share an experience I had. So, I was born and raised in Maryland. Um, you know, the church that I was born and raised in, I was born and raised in a certain church, at Zion Temple. Love y'all. Still love that church. I was born and raised there. As a child, I don't know why. Not sure why. I don't know the story because I was a kid. We started going to another church for a while. I got a little older, ended up going back to Zion Temple, and I went there up until adulthood, and I decided I was going to seek God for myself. and, kind of find my own relationship. I wanted to form my own relationship with God. I wanted to find Him on my own, because up until then, I was um I was relying on what I was taught, what people told me. I was relying on that, and I knew that wasn't going to be enough. At the time, I didn't know where I was going in life, didn't know where God was going to take me. I didn't know what I knew now, but I knew that I had to find God for myself. So, I did end up leaving Zion Temple and going to another church in Baltimore for a little while. Um, and I was going there for a little while, and then I ended up going to Conquering Power, which is where I am now. Um, so when I left the church in Baltimore, I just like up and left. Now, that is not the way to do it. And I didn't, again, remember, at the time, I didn't know this. I didn't know that there was like a certain way you were supposed to leave a church after you join. Didn't know. Because I was told, like, my folks told me, it doesn't matter where you go to church as long as you're going. Because my folks, they wanted me to have that relationship with God. They wanted me to have that foundation, things like that. I am not bashing my parents for saying that. They weren't wrong for telling me that. They wanted me in church. They wanted me to have a connection and a relationship with God, and I appreciate them for telling me that. I just didn't know that there was like a certain way, like it's that you were supposed to like at least have a conversation with somebody. I didn't do that. So yes, I was wrong for that. I will admit that. I can admit that I was wrong for that. Um, but when I did leave that church in Baltimore, I kind of got chewed out by one of my leaders, and rightfully so, because I did just kind of like up and leave. But um, I just felt like, I knew what I needed. I'm gonna just say that. I knew what I needed, and I wasn't getting what I needed where I was. And not to say that, that was a bad, it's not a bad church. That church is, every church I've ever attended is still up and running, still doing great, and I love each and every place. And I appreciate each and every place. It's just when you're growing and transitioning, when you're growing and transitioning, sometimes the environment you're in is not enough to sustain you, and that's okay. But that's why we're having this conversation about the right and wrong way to leave. So, from what I have learned, when you're a part of a church and you join a church and everything like that, when you leave, you're supposed to um, let someone know, let the pastor know, your bishop, whoever. Um, I to be completely honest, I'm not sure on the whole. Sorry, not sure on the entire process, but I'm not sure on all the exact steps. But there is a right and wrong way to leave a church. Um, but I'm going to share my thoughts. um, the first thing, we have to stop demonizing the people who leave our church. We have to stop doing that. You know, um, people leave for their own reasons. Like your religion, denomination, your church, it's not a gang. It is not also not the end all be all. Your church is not the only church in the world. Your religion is not the only religion in the world. Now, I am a Christian and I believe that there is only one true living God. However, I am not out here bashing the Muslims, bashing the Buddhists, bashing the atheists. I'm not running them in the ground. No. I am focusing on my own religion. I'm focusing on my own convictions. And that's what we all should be doing. If and when someone leaves your church, like, honestly, and I'm like jumping around in my points over here in my notes. Honestly, when someone leaves your church, it's none of your business why they left. Whether you know why they left or not, it's none of your business. At the end of the day, unless you're the pastor of that church, it's none of your business. Point blank, period. Whether you know the reason or not, it's none of your business. So, demonizing them and talking about them and, treating them like they're a bad person, like that is so out of pocket. And that is not, it's not cool. Like, it's just simply not cool. Just because someone left your church doesn't mean that they have to leave your life. If you had a relationship with that person, like if you were friends with that person, you can still talk to them, you can still be friends with them. You can. Now, on the flip side, some people will leave and it's hurtful. When it it's just, there's always a little bit of like uh there's a little pain involved when people leave. When you've been going to church with people for so long, and or for a certain amount of time, you kind of get used to seeing them, and then they leave. It's kind of like, oh man, it kind of makes you sad, kind of makes you feel some type of way, and that's fine. If you feel some type of way about that, then you need to talk to that person. You need to talk to that person about it. Excuse me, one moment. Just one moment. I will be right back. Ugh. Maybe you're in trouble for that one. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm back. If we were friends, we'd still be friends. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that, Mom. If you were friends, like, if you have a relationship with someone, you know, and that as well. But my mom, she said, God always places you where you need to be. Learning is a process. Absolutely. I know better now. And, you know, if I could go, if I could go back, if I had known, then of course I would have handled it the right way. Of course. But I didn't know. I didn't know any better back then. But, yeah. So, our religion, our church, our denomination, all those things, that is not, like, yes, we serve the true living God. Yes. But that does not give us a right to bash the other religions and what other people believe. That's not our job. As Christians, we have to get back to the focus of our job, what it actually is. Excuse me. We have to get back to being disciples. Seriously, y'all. We have to get back to being disciples. The foundation. Like, we have to get back to that. We have to. But that's another topic for another day. Um some people some people need to leave, either for the betterment of for their own personal benefit or for the benefit of the church. Like, think about it. There we Every church has that certain kind of member. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that one member who is like, there's always those abrasive members. You know what I mean? Like, there are some people, like I said, some people do come with ulterior motives. Some people, not everyone. There are some people who will join the church for the wrong reasons, and they'll end up almost becoming a cancer in the church. Like, and everyone has a place. Everyone has a place. It just may not be your church. And that's okay. Like, we can't we have to stop carrying the spirit of offense. And we have to stop pushing that. Like, if you're offended because somebody left, just say that. Say that, deal with that, and move on. But talking about people, talking bad about people, gossiping about people who have left. Like, that is so, it's old. Like, it's very old. And we have to stop doing that because like, it's just not okay. Simply, it's not okay. And, and maybe, may I submit this to you? Instead of talking about them, like, let's put that energy into what we're doing. What are we doing for the church? Like, are you even showing up? What, like, are you showing up to church and Bible study? Like, are you a faithful member? Are you paying your tithes? Are you, like, when you do come to church, are you engaged? Or are you on your phone? Or are you texting your homeboy or homegirl on the other side? Like, why are you coming to church? Why are you still part of the church? It's best to just kind of focus on ourselves. We too many times, yeah, absolutely. Self-examination, especially when you're a part of a church, because when it comes to the things of God and ministry and things like that, there are souls on the line. Yours and others. There are souls on the line. We cannot we we can't, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. Like, we when there's souls on the line, there's not much room for fumbling and for dropping the ball. No one's perfect. But when there's souls on the line, like, we have to focus on the right things, especially when it comes to church. And honestly, if you don't know or understand why someone left your specific church, pray about it. And I know that that sounds very generic, sounds very surface, but honestly, no. Pray about it, because maybe in prayer or maybe after prayer, God will reveal to you the true reason why they left, or or just give it time. Just give it time. There are some people who left one church, and, like, once they left a certain church, they flourished and they thrived and they really, like, blossomed into who they were meant to be. And it's a beautiful thing. And on the flip side, there are people who have left and things kind of went downhill. And I hate that for them, but I pray that they find their place. The best thing you can do is pray for them. The best thing you can do for people who have left is to pray for them. Whether you, whether they come back or not. Like, the best thing you could do is pray for them. That's the best thing you could do. That's, if I'm giving advice, that would be my piece of advice. The best thing you could do is pray for them. And, in time, if you're that pressed for answers, because honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. Like, unless it involves you directly, then it doesn't really matter. But in time, all things will be revealed. It'll be revealed in good time and in due time. So, that's, yeah. That's all I have on this topic in this episode. Um this was good. I feel good about this one. I'm getting more comfortable in front of the camera, which I'm happy about that. And we are, as far as the show, we're continuing to grow, continuing to expand. Um, Shout out to my hubby, Michael. He made a huge investment in, he got me a new laptop, which is where I'm streaming from right now. Um, so he made a huge investment, and it's been a really, really big help in everything. And, with the show, with everything else that I have going on, it's been a really big help. So, the show is growing, we're expanding. Um, we're going to be starting a new series um, come next week, probably, unless the Lord says otherwise. Um, so, yeah, stay tuned. I want to thank each and every person who tuned in, everyone who shared, everyone who participated in the conversation. I really, really, really appreciate it. Um, I can't thank y'all enough. Like, I just a million, million, million and one thank yous to everyone. Um, I will keep you all posted with when and where we're going to be streaming next week. I am definitely going to stay consistent, for sure. I'm going to stay consistent, but just stay tuned. Be on the lookout for updates. Um, and yeah, just be on the lookout for updates. I will see you all next time. Um, so yeah, you all have a great night. Get some rest. I pray that oh yeah, I pray that your weekend is amazing. I pray that the rest of your night is amazing. And yeah, until next time, you all take care. And I love you. Good night.